Hey fellas, Rusty coming at you. Today we're going to be taking a look at, shall we say, a vintage Kizer. We are in the July of 2024 and Kizer just celebrated their 11th anniversary. Just finished their 11th anniversary sale. And I found this knife. I had seen it before, never seen it new. And I found it on eBay one time, and I didn't want to spend the money. It would have been used. And so I was on the lookout. I go into eBay, I search for used Kizer knives, and I couldn't remember the model, and I'll have to put it in the description. It's right there for those of you. It doesn't really have a name, but I've seen videos now on this knife. First one is 9 years old. So that tells me that this thing must have been around in the second year of the Kizer production. So we'll get into the knife, and I'm going to call this video Those Who Know, Know. So we'll talk about why that is. So first thing I want to say, give me a second. Had to catch my my thinking here. First, I wanted to talk about the title, Those Who Know, Know, and then I'll talk about some comparison knives and that kind of stuff. So, I get a lot of my knives delivered to work, and I do that so they don't sit on the porch at home. And I got this one, and I usually show them off to my coworkers. And one of my coworkers said, I let him hold it. Like, what are you going to use that for? And I was just kind of like, what do you mean? I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I'm going to use that for whatever the fuck I want, bitch. So, anyways, those who know, that's what I mean. Those who know, know. And you'll see when I do the comparison why I was thinking that. I just said, I don't know. And so G10, very grippy, very contoured, very nice. The right thickness, very thick scales, lots of back spacers, lots of jimping. No real jimping on the blade. Big thumb studs. Great compound grind. And so I'll start getting into the comparison knives. If you guys follow me, you'll know I really like this blade grind. Check out my Tucson TS222. That's the Tucson. It's called the Titan S35VN. So when in the videos I've found on this, when Kizer was first coming out, they were using S35VN. And this knife was available from Blade HQ for $100. It didn't have any milling. There's no milling in there for what shall we say lightning. And that's okay because, like I said, this is a big, hard use knife. And let's take a peek here. There's your stop pin. And Rusty likes them big. We have decent blade centering. And let's take a look at the action. Okay. I will admit the action is a little, because when you come down here, and I have a Tangram Rumble. So you guys can be looking up these knives. And I plan to do a comparison on these. The Tangram Rumble has the same thing. And this knife now, if it's 10 years old, going back to 2014, would require a certain amount of wrist flick. You would judge a knife by basically how much wrist flick it needed. So I'm getting out there really with not a lot of wrist flick, but we got the thumb studs, and this is a chunk. This is a lot of S35 VN. So, gone on long enough. I only have one comparison knife, and that is the rat. Bringing the rat out because a lot of people, if you don't have a rat, you should have a rat. And we'll bring it out. And when you see how these two compare, I think we're looking at a 4-inch handle with the rat. Try to line them up here. So this is greater than 4 inches and a 3.6-inch blade. So we must be, I'll try to, if I can find the specs, I'll try to put this in here. And the last part of my video, which I didn't mention, is talking about collecting modern knives. And so what I'm suggesting to you guys is Kizer's here. Kizer's going to stay. Kizer has a reputation for making fantastic knives. This is one from their probably first or second year. Is it the best knife? No. But like I said, you can use it for whatever you want. Is it going to be collectible? You know, in 50 years, my opinion is, for those who know why this is a bad knife, yes, there's going to be some people who are going to want this. Plan on doing a comparison with my other knives. I got a lot of them with this blade shape, and I hope you guys can join me if I ever do get that video together. By the way, last thing, I do think this is on phosphor bronze washers, and that's part of the reason, you know, it's it's not drop shutty like your Kizers, but I don't think it's been used a lot, and I think this is not bad for phosphor bronze. All right, thanks for joining me.